So my talk about a very interesting area that most of the TAVR people, most of the implanter people, they start to explore this topic, which is TAVI in aortic regurg. TAVI in aortic regurg, let's just have some idea about the prevalence of the disease. Our pure aortic regurg represent 13% of the lesion on the left side of the heart. AS, the most common in North America, then mitral regurg, then aortic regurg, then MS. Probably the prevalence in our region is different, being the rheumatic mitral valve stenosis is the most common. So an aortic regurg is well known that it is the disease, in North America, is the disease of elderly people related to degeneration. But in our region, we see a lot of aortic regurg as a complication of infective endocarditis. So bottom line, aortic regurg is not a nice disease. It is a disease come with too many complications. Patient with severe, need to go back. Patient with severe aortic regurg and low ejection fraction have an annual mortality of 20%. So that's a very high number. But unfortunately, only 5% of the patient with aortic regurg and poor ejection fraction, they go for surgery, according to the data from the Euro Heart Survey on valvular heart disease. So, you remember, long time ago, we used to look and watch at the aortic valve stenosis patient until they pass away. Now, we are doing the same with the aortic regurg patient, hoping we're gonna find the technology to save these people. So, what is the difference between aortic valve stenosis and aortic regurg? Severe AS is characterized, as you know, by pressure overload. The door is closed, so the muscle have to work very hard to overcome this, and patient will develop concentric LVH and afterload mismatch. Fortunately, this mechanism, once we relieve the obstruction, patient dramatically improve. They have a reserve in their hypertrophied myocytes. So after TAVI, ejection fraction improve, and we see a marked regression in the LVH. And that's explained why patients have clear benefit of quality of life and expectancy after TAVI. This is not applicable for aortic regurgitation patient, because for the patient to have a symptom, it's a long time of regurg for the patient to have symptom. By the time he's having symptom, already the heart is weak, and already there is some changes within the myocyte itself, which is according to the Frank Starling mechanism, it's an irreversible way. And that's what I'm saying, that 30 patients with acute with aortic regurg and poor ejection fraction, they have very poor outcome. This is from anatomic point of view, degenerated aortic valve stenosis have progressive calcification of the leaflet and annulus. In aortic regurg, there is, in the majority, there is minimal, very minimum calcification if any is there. Plus, that the aortic root is dilated, and the aortic annulus also, it follows the sinus and it is dilated. The anatomical difference, it makes the true challenge for the TAVI in aortic regurg patient. Look at this. So that's the annulus of aortic regurg patient. There is no calcium, and the calcium is important to hold the device from embolization. And this is the leaflet. It looks nice, but actually there is aortic regurgitation. As you can see, the office of the leaflet is there. That's the annulus of aortic stenosis. You see the calcium to anchor the valve. Here, aortic regurg patient, and here, aortic stenosis patient. The calcium you help to anchor the TAVI device. Here, you need to find a mechanism to anchor the valve. So, the technical challenges during TAVI for aortic regurg, it's these 3 points. The absence of annular and leaflet calcification, which is important to anchor the device. Aortic root dilatation, this means I need a device large enough to seal the valve and to make sure there is no risk of embolization or late migration. The increased also stroke volume. The stroke volume during clinical examination, if you remember from the medical school, the Corrigan sign, the femoral pulsation, the it is the same effect exerted on the valve or the aorta while deploying. Large amount of blood coming out, it will increase the risk of embolization, and it prevents you from doing the best stabilization during deployment. Number 4 is not written here, is when you overexpand the leaflet, which is not calcified by a device, there is a very important risk of coronary obstruction. Increase the risk of embolization or malapposition of the prosthesis with subsequent moderate to severe post-procedure acute regurg, aortic regurg. So either embolization or late migration, or there is no incomplete sealing and there is aortic regurgitation. Aortic regurgitation, as we know, paravalvular leak, post-TAVI in aortic valve stenosis, even if mild, is bad. In case of aortic regurg, imagine it is much, much bad, and most of the data we have, it showed that even mild is aortic regurg, the paravalvular leak, post-aortic regurg, carries the worst outcome comparing to any other factor. Valve migration, which can occur later on, it can be toward the aorta on the LV. As you can see, it's not an easy things to do, and we have to find a way to implant the valve safely and without migration, without embolization, without paravalvular leak. It is a tough area to explore. Okay, I need to anchor the valve, so I have to go oversize to prevent the embolization and migration. Published data saying you go 15 to 20% oversize when you select the transcatheter heart, the valve. Don't go beyond 20 because the risk of rupture. And if you look at the series, you will find that in about 15 to 20% of the patient, you have to go beyond that 20% of overexpansion. This is the data for different devices in aortic regurg from 2013 until now. This is, the all devices like core valve have been used, Sapien XT have been used, and too many paper using core valve, which is a self-expandable, and also some of the valve not anymore present, like the Lotus and Lotus valve, and some like Sapien XT. So most of the data come from small number of patients, and the success rate, it ranges between 60 to 90%, comparing to the experience of the center, the device used, the old generation of the valves, the new generation of the valve. So data is inconsistent and truly is not encouraging data, and that's led to people to start to think to create a device that can be implanted safely without risk of complication with good outcome. So this is, again, all the study, mentioning the different devices. And you can see here a couple of names of valve like Gina valve, and then direct flow valve, and there is the J valve. These three valves, they call it the new generation valve for aortic regurg. And all the previous one is an old generation. So they compare. Let me show you first the J valve. This is a self-expandable valve that cannot be recaptured. It's made for aortic regurg, pure aortic regurg device. You see this hooks, this C-shaped hooks, this one, and then this another one here. So this made like a clip. When you open it, you open the device, this first thing to go out. So it anchor itself in the leaflet. And then when you release the actual valve, it will push the leaflet against this U-shaped clips, زي المشبك. And then theoretically, you said, oh, that's nice. Anchor, it will not embolize, no paravalvular leak. But the data, again, is not that encouraging. And at the beginning, when they use the J valve, they go transapical. Now they are going transfemoral. They keep doing some changes, but this is one of the hope actually for patient cannot go for surgery. It comes with 5 different sizes, and it can go to up 900 area millimeter. So this is the largest valve can be used for the largest aortic root. This is the Gina valve is a self-expandable valve. It comes in 3 sizes, 23, 25, and 27. So you cannot use it in very large aortic root. And again, the same concept. You see this like diamond, 1, 2, and there is one at the back, 3. So when you open it, each one, it go to the sinus, the aortic sinus, non-coronary sinus, left coronary sinus, right coronary sinus. So it anchors itself. Then when you release the valve will be push the leaflet against this anchors, or what we call locators, and it prevent the embolization. Here, each one is already in different sinus, and now after release, this is how it look like. So this is good, probably because of the scared. The risk of paravalvular leak is low, but again, the data show there is a risk of embolization and paravalvular leak. And this is the last slides for me. I want just to show you, this is the early generation device, the one in purple, including Lotus, including Edward XT, core valve. And this is the green one here, is the new devices like the Gina valve and J valve and the, can I have? Yeah, so you can see here the paravalvular leak. This is moderate to severe, not mild. It's about 17% with the old devices. Now it's 7%. It's still high, but it's better than before. And 30-day mortality is 3.5. That's also high with the new devices. Major vascular complication. This one valve in transcatheter heart valve. In transcatheter heart valve, this is the embolized. Imagine there was a risk of 20% of embolization of the valve that you need to put another valve. With the early experience. Now it came down to 5. Annular rupture, higher than what we do with aortic valve stenosis. Bottom line, the era of aortic valve regurgitation and TAVI is very challenging. No calcium, large anatomy. Still, we don't have the proper device that give us the best result. With less embolization, with better mortality outcome. I think it is the area of that need a lot of development, and at least there is 2 valves now under investigation, one from Belgium and one from Italy, talking about devices with large size and better anchoring. Thank you very much.